Well, you're watching Left, Right and Centre, and you were watching our interview there with Natwar Singh earlier today, where he's spoken even more, much more in fact, on his relationship with Sonia Gandhi, the Gandhis, what he thinks of Rahul Gandhi, and certainly the future of the Congress party. Many things to talk about tonight. Manishankar Iyer, senior Congress leader and MP, joins us on the program this evening. Shahid Siddiqui, the editor of Nai Dunya, is with us. Siddharth Bhatia also joins us tonight from Mumbai. Mr. Iyer, let me get your first reactions to Natwar Singh's interview to us today. In particular, he's been pretty scathing in his criticism of Mrs. Gandhi. Would you say that this is just a disgruntled ex-congressman, or the fact is that he was also a confidant, he was an insider, a senior minister, and therefore a lot of what he says, people will take that much more seriously?
Well, I have to confess that I haven't seen your program, because as you know, I was on another channel till 8:30 my time. So I caught the last minute or two of whatever you were telecasting just now. So I'm afraid I'm not in a position to answer your question on the basis of whatever it was you have shown. But if you would like to reformulate your question in terms of just what you'd like to ask me, rather than connected to a TV program which I haven't seen,
sure, go ahead.
I'd be happy to answer your question.
Go ahead.
No, but I can't go ahead unless you reformulate the question.
Well, my question then is that I'm sure you've seen the media reports, and I can tell you some of what he said. He has said that Sonia Gandhi hurt him very deeply with Volker, that there were people who advised her at that time to drop him without even a hearing, because they said that she would somehow be connected to the scandal. He says that she's a prima donna, that she does not allow any dissent in the party, and he says that no Indian would have treated him the way that she did. So, like I said, pretty scathing words, Mr. Iyer.
Well, that last sentence of yours certainly upsets me. It seems to me to be a very racist remark. It also seems to me to be extremely unfair, because it was an Indian who picked him as the closest confidant, and is the closest, an Indian who decided that at some stage he was more a liability than an asset. But to attribute that to the fact that she was born in Italy is, I think, a racist remark to make.
But what about everything else that he has said about her style of functioning, about the lack of no dissent being allowed in the party, that she has total control, that she's been treated like royalty, and sits at from her privileged perch, he says, she reigns and she rules. How would you respond to that criticism?
Well, I mean, if she was behaving like a Begum, then he was behaving like a Darbari. After all, he was the closest to her. He was as much the insider as I am the outlier. And the party accepts her as the leader of the party in victory or in defeat. In fact, we accepted her in defeat, and then she took us to victory and gave us a government of 10 years. Gave us a good foreign minister in Natwar Singh for about a year and a half. And then things went wrong. But you can't say that she wasn't like that then, and she's become one because she's dropped me. I think that's a very unfair way of judging people. And yes, she is a reserved person. She is not the hail fellow, well-met kind that one find in Rajiv Gandhi. But then Mrs. Indira Gandhi was also a very reserved person compared, for example, to her father. So people have different characters, and there are as many differences among Indians as there would be between Indians and foreigners. And what I really object to is the suggestion that there's something un-Indian about her. I don't find that at all. The poor lady is 68 years old. Of that, for 51 years she's been in this country. She's adopted this country and she's adapted to it. And the people of India have hailed her as an Indian. And when a BJP woman said that she was going to shave her hair if she became Prime Minister, that was the kind of offensive remark against which we fought. And I'm sad to hear that today in the mouth of one of the men whom I have the highest regard for and to whom I am beholden, because so much of my life was given a boost by Natwar, and I can't believe that it is Natwar, who's a completely secular human being, who would say something like this.
Okay, so pretty strong
Obviously,
reaction.
adversity doesn't suit him.
Well, Shahid Siddiqui, this is very interesting because Natwar Singh was the insider, right? So therefore, you take a lot of what he writes very seriously. And yet at the same time, as Manishankar Iyer said, and as I kept asking Natwar Singh as well, is that did you discover this side of Sonia Gandhi only after you had to leave the party and leave the government? Because he does sound really, really angry. When you read the book, he sounds very angry and very, very bitter with her in particular.
He is bitter, and bitterness, you know, blinds you. It doesn't allow you to think rationally. Bitterness, anger, a kind of you know, revenge you want to take. Your ego is hurt. So his ego was badly hurt. He thought that he was very close to Sonia Gandhi, and if there was any problem, he could go to Sonia Gandhi and explain to her whatever the problem was and get over it. That did not happen. So if today he is writing, I think he is not writing very honestly. He is writing about whatever suits him, and he wants to leave clear his name in history, not to come out with history. That is the difference.
What do you mean that he's not writing honestly? What do you mean? What do you think he's holding back?
I mean, to me it seems that I have not read the book as yet, but whatever excerpts I have read in the media, it seems that he could have revealed much more about himself, about what was happening. What comes out is that he is revealing those parts where he could clear his own name, and he could put himself on a pedestal and at the cost of Sonia Gandhi or some of the other Congress leaders.
Siddharth Bhatia, your thoughts on whatever you have heard. Again, I know that everyone hasn't had a chance to read the book. I had the pleasure of doing that for much of last night. But, you know, based on what you've heard and seen, how does Natwar Singh sound to you? Does he sound a person who carries a great deal of credibility in the allegations that he's making? And the fact is, Sonia Gandhi went and met him with Priyanka just before the book was released. So what was she worried about?
Well, I actually have seen your interview just now, and I think the tone that you say is in the book was very much there, evident in the interview itself. He was unsmiling and a little on the defensive, but also leaving no chance at all, I felt that, to get his point across that she had let him down. So there is that peak and bitterness is there. And in fact, I think, Nidhi, you will know that insiders turning outsiders is now an almost a publishing genre, and it's going to grow only bigger. So we don't know whether she went and what she said. We have his word for it, but let us assume for a moment it's true. And it's quite possible that that could have been to say, you know, what kind of, to get an idea of what kind of things he's going to say. I think that's perfectly legitimate, as much as it is legitimate to what he wants to say. But as a reader, as an observer of politics, when I pick up this book and start reading it, it will be in the back of my mind that he was the quintessential insider. The other question will be that he was a minister only for 1 year, 1.5 years. How does he know what happened subsequently with Mr. Pulak Chatterjee, etc.? The third question will be his son is in the BJP as an MLA, no less. And the fourth question is going to be that he himself also gone to Mr. Modi and given him advice on what he should do for foreign policy. So it will be difficult to escape the conclusion as a reader that A, he is kind of trying to defend himself, and B, he is getting back at somebody who he thinks has slighted, while her family and she had given him a very exalted status for about 40 years.
Okay, interesting. I'll take that to Sudhanshu Trivedi of the BJP who joins us. Mr. Trivedi, the point that Siddharth Bhatia raised about Natwar Singh's advice to Mr. Modi, the fact that his son is a BJP MLA, I asked Mr. Singh that question as well, that, you know, many of his critics will say that his political leanings have in a sense now changed. I know the BJP has also said in the last couple of days that the Congress must now explain, you know, what Sonia Gandhi's exact role was vis-a-vis the government. But on this question of Natwar Singh's own political affiliations today, how would you respond to that?
Whatever Mr. Natwar Singh is saying, it is a very intimate deliberations of internal Congress party, and that too related with the first family. It's like the intrigues going on in the royal family during the time of kingship. But the first and foremost thing, irrespective of Mr. Natwar Singh's affiliation today, the questions which it has raised, like the voice of consciousness was there or not, or it was just a disguise to put a device of life saving, or whether she met or not. Of course, Sonia Gandhi ji has said that she will write a book. She is welcome. I would like to remember that Narasimha Rao has also written a book, The Insider, in which he has given detailed deliberation how the internal intrigues of Congress party went on and perverted the culture of Congress into family feud and then personality cult and whatever it is. So there is some similarity between what Narasimha Rao has said, what Natwar Singh has said. I am not going into the details. I just want a clear categorical no should be there, but it is not coming up. The matter of national concern is on an issue on which the nation has paid respect to a person or a family, and the question is raised and there is no clear categorical no. This is the concern of BJP.
But also, Sudhanshu Trivedi, just on that point about her inner voice, in fact, Natwar Singh also says he doesn't blame Rahul Gandhi as a son for telling his mother that that I'm worried about you possibly being killed. He says he shares that assessment that she may have been killed if she had become Prime Minister, and doesn't hold it against her for even saying that she heard her inner voice on this, even if she said so. Is that really an important point, or you think that she misled the country by saying that she heard an inner voice?
Actually, when a leader, that too of a ruling party of the country, says that he or she is doing on the basis of their inner consciousness, and if something otherwise comes afterwards, it seems that they have believed or cheated the feelings of the people. And there are some point of substance also. After the sad demise of Sri Rajiv Gandhi, when Narasimha Rao became party Prime Minister, then it was very easy for Sonia ji to enter into the politics. There was some hesitation. I think there might be a point which Natwar Singh ji is making in front of us. There might be a hesitation because of terror attack and other things. And one more thing, the voice of consciousness was first used by Indira Gandhi in 1969. From Indira Gandhi in 1969 to Sonia Gandhi in 2004, it seems that this phrase has been used by Congress leaders, not in the national interest, but more in the self-interest.
Okay. Let me just then ask Shahid Siddiqui, that do you think that Sonia Gandhi could have treated Natwar Singh better when the Volcker scandal happened? Because he says he didn't even get a single hearing, he was just dropped.
I think she should have. And that's where many of the Congress leaders have felt bad, that he should have. The Indian way, and I am not questioning her origins, and she is as Indian as I am, but in the Indian way is that when somebody has been with your family for so long, even if he or she commits some mistake, then you do give a hearing, you talk to them, you find out what is the truth, because truth may not be, you may only hear the one side of the truth. So that should have been done. I think that was a mistake on part of Sonia Gandhi, and not meeting him since then was again bad. You can have different politics, you can disagree on politics, but the personal relations should remain. That is the Indian way, that is the Asian way, that is how we deal with even with adversaries.
Siddharth Bhatia, do you think that this book, while Natwar Singh's motivation and everything else is being questioned on one hand, do you believe that the book in a sense has also damaged the aura of Sonia Gandhi? And how do you think that will play out within the party now?
Well, that's actually a very interesting question, because I don't know about the damage. We'll see whether there is a long-lasting impact, because things, the books come and go, and we don't know what its impact is going to be. But what it has done for the first time is thrown light on a world that we know very little about. We only hear it from, from whispers and murmurs. But this has thrown an inner light on the workings of the upper echelons of the Congress, the first family, which has never happened before. Even this simple fact like her not meeting him or her coming to meet him and all that, these are things that remain in a very, very, very hidden aura. And for the first time this has happened. So in that sense, I think this is a seminal book. We want to know how this party operates, if not the family itself, and there should be more books about not only the Congress but other parties too, about how they operate. There is just so much opacity, and for the first time there has been a little bit of a glimpse to the lay public about the inner workings of the Congress, at the upper reaches of Congress.
Okay, I'll give the last word to Mr. Iyer then. Mr.
But
Iyer,
I don't think that it's going to have a lasting impact right
Okay.
yet.
Not yet. Maybe in the long term. Mr. Iyer, then what do you think that the fallout of this will be? Because is this something that is just going to be dismissed and wished away? Or do you think that there will be some rumblings in the party?
No, I don't think it's going to have a major impact for the reason that was mentioned just now. All this is being looked at through a glass darkly. And there's too much of anger, there's too much of prejudice, there's too much of hurt for this to be taken by anybody as an objective assessment. And if she deserves all those adjectives that have been put upon her in the latter phase of the book, particularly in the epilogue, then does this mean that all this emerged suddenly after the Folker report? Because that is effectively what he said to you in that 1 or 2 minutes that I heard, where he said that no, she was not like that before, she became like that after. So it means that one man's perspective is very influenced by that man's, the position
Well,
from
actually,
which he's
you know,
looking at the
I'm going to
person.
have the last word.
And
because
I don't
he-
think therefore
he-
it's going to have a very
He
long-lasting
actually contradicted
or strong
himself on the
effect.
point about what her nature was like when he was in the party as well, because he earlier in the interview started narrating an incident, for instance, on how she treated Arjun Singh, and he said that, you know, there were these flashes of her ruthless nature as he has described in the book as well. So he also seemed to contradict himself there. But interesting times. Let's see whether the headlines over this book will actually die down in the next few days. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us with some perspective on that book and on that interview. Thanks for joining us this week, everyone. We'll see you again on Monday night. Goodbye.